Good, happy Friday evening, everyone. I'm Riley King, and welcome to the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. Let's begin. First up, we begin with breaking news. 14-day sentence for Hoffman. Legal breakdown of Hoffman's sentencing. Let's take a listen to that video from WCVB Boston.
Thanks for your time. So, to go over the bullet points of this sentence, 14 days in prison, so 2 weeks. Also, a fine of $30,000. That's double what she allegedly paid in this scheme. And 250 hours of community service. Let me ask you first off, you surprised about the jail time here?
I am. I'm definitely surprised about the sentence. Sentences of days as opposed to months or years are unusual in the state court, but especially in federal court. So the length of the sentence is surprising. Second, the Federal Sentencing Commission has made recommendations and reminders to the federal court that non-violent crimes should be non-custodial sentences should be given to non-violent crimes. That's exactly what we had here in Ms. Huffman's case, and so I am surprised when faced between the alternative of 30 days, which was the prosecutor's recommendation, or a month, or probation, which was the defense recommendation, that the judge went so far as to split the baby. Obviously a very frightening decision for Ms. Huffman here on Friday the 13th.
The question, though, Ben, is it an even more frightening outcome for a lot of the other defendants in this case, including some notably like the other actress, Lori Loughlin, who has not pleaded guilty and is taking a totally different tack here?
It should serve as a warning shot for Ms. Loughlin. Absolutely. There are three main differences between Ms. Loughlin's case and Ms. Huffman's case, however. First, Ms. Loughlin is going to be in front of a very different judge, not the same judge that presided over Ms. Huffman's case today, and that sentenced Ms. Huffman. In fact, a judge that some say has a heavier hand in sentencing. Ms. Loughlin also paid $500,000 as opposed to Ms. Huffman's $15,000, which the sentencing judge today took into consideration. And finally, there are additional charges that are facing Ms. Loughlin, including conspiracy to commit money laundering, which was not in play in Ms. Huffman's case. So if Ms. Huffman is going to get jail for this particular sentence, I think Ms. Loughlin should be feeling very concerned about a possible jail sentence in her case.
All right.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Again, 14 days in prison. No evidence of sexual assaults at Pinkerton as claimed in social media post. Investigators say rumors spread in unfolded Snapchat message. Derry police investigating accusations of sexual assault at Pinkerton Academy said Friday appears no crimes happened and the allegations were just a rumor on social media. The Pinkerton Academy headmaster sent a letter to the school community Thursday that said the school was investigating allegations of sexual assault among students. Police said Friday it appears that the accusations stemmed from an unfounded Snapchat message that was being shared throughout the school. The message claimed that 12 female students had been sexually assaulted by a male student, and when the incidents were reported to school staff members, the school took no action, police said. The school resource officer at Pinkerton said staff members indicated that no such reports had been made. The officer spoke to the students who initially reposted the message and said she didn't know who wrote it and had no personal information about the allegations, police said. Derry police said they spoke to dozens of students who had shared the post or had posted outside the school Friday, and no one could produce the name of possible victims or suspects. Police said they encouraged students to come forward privately if they believe they had been the victim of a crime. They said social media posts about possible crimes should be reported to law enforcement agencies rather than shared online. Fire marshal investigating after man found dead in burning home. 2 others able to escape burning home in Farmington. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Ray Brewer.
Out the door when it matters most. For more than a decade, he's been right there, everywhere. And when American jobs are on the line, he leads the charge. ABC's World News Tonight with David Muir is America's most watched newscast, and we thank you.
Not yet, Sean. Officials are awaiting the results of an autopsy, which is scheduled for later today, before releasing that information. But all we know at this point is that the victim was a man. Now, police were called to 68 Places Crossing Lane at about 9:30 last night for a welfare check. When officers got there, the home was on fire. Now, the residence is down the end of a posted road, so we were unable to get to the scene. In the course of fighting the fire, the man's body was discovered in a rear bedroom. No word yet on the age of the victim. There were also 2 other people who were home at the time. They were able to escape unharmed. Now, the cause of the fire is under investigation by the State Fire Marshal's Office, along with Farmington Police and fire departments. We don't know if the home was equipped with smoke detectors. However, in the press release, the State Fire Marshal reminded everyone of the importance of having working smoke detectors in their home. Again, the autopsy is scheduled for later today. Reporting live in Farmington, Ray Brewer, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Motorcyclist injured in Rochester crash. Let's take a listen to the video from WMUR News 9.
We're here today to tell you good folks about Cozy Cabin Rustics Furniture and Mattress Bargain Barn. We carry all types of furniture, including American-made Adirondack and real logs, hardwoods, and reclaimed barn boards to build our quality furniture. Now at 3 convenient locations.
One person is seriously hurt right now following an accident, this one here in Rochester. Police say this morning a motorcycle driving on Farmington Road and a car turning left to enter the Ridge Marketplace got into an accident. The motorcyclist was taken to Portsmouth Regional Hospital. The driver of the car was sent to Frisbee Memorial Hospital. Police are still investigating.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Martha Hennessy becomes 3rd New Hampshire state senator to back Cory Booker for president. Hanover Democrat says New Jersey senator has shown authority, compassion, ability to unite nation. 1 year later, Merrimack Valley still recovering from gas disaster. Let's take a listen to the video from WCVB Boston.
Customers will call in or email in and just tell us that I was at the store, and from the beginning of the sale till the delivery, it was a great experience. And as a business owner, that's what we strive for.
Visit us at powellstone.com.
Doug and Antoinette, you can still see signs of what happened here 1 year ago, like this boarded up building here. The disaster took a heavy toll on the infrastructure, on homes, on streets, as well as on families. Well, today, city leaders, along with the governor, will name the corner of Jackson Street and Chestnut Street Lionel Rondon Square. He was the 18-year-old killed as a result of those blasts. Rondon was outside a home that exploded, and the chimney from that home crashed onto his car, which he was sitting in. Many streets here are still all cut up and in various stages of repair. South Lawrence was the hardest hit. While the gas infrastructure in that area of the city is now mostly new, Mayor Dan Rivera told our Ed Harding that's not the case elsewhere.
This part has been rebuilt, but how much of Lawrence is still antiquated gas lines?
Half.
Behind us, there's a work vehicle. How much longer are work vehicles going to be on city streets at 4:30 in the afternoon?
Probably till 2023.
So another 4 years of work ahead and 4 more years of headaches for the community. Ahead in our next half hour, we'll hear from some families who are still trying to get life back to normal. Live in Lawrence, Sarah Conji, WCVB News Center 5.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. New Hampshire mother helps change law on driver licenses. Let's take a listen to that video from NECN. Catherine Underwood.
Chance clearance is going on now. Get behind the wheel of a brand new 2019 Subaru Impreza. Lease for only $189 per month for 36 months. With symmetrical all-wheel drive, you can confidently take the road less traveled. Don't miss your final chance. Come on.
Law in New Hampshire will allow people diagnosed with autism to indicate that on their driver's license if they choose to. It all comes after a scary experience for one Derry teenager with autism who was pulled over by police last year. Catherine Underwood explains from Derry.
Oh no, they're misunderstanding him.
Kelly Richardson has watched her son Hunter grow into a strong, independent young man.
He does well at his job and he graduated from high school. I'm just very proud of all that he accomplished.
Hunter is autistic and is uneasy in unfamiliar situations. So you can imagine the panic when Hunter saw blue flashing lights in his rearview mirror.
It was a terrifying experience for him.
Hunter was being pulled over for the very first time for rolling through a red light in Salem. When the officer approached him, Hunter was unsure of how to react.
He might have been looking around, he might have been nervous, he might have been just overwhelmed and had that look on his face.
Without any way to know that Hunter was autistic, the officer considered his behavior suspicious. But before arresting him, the officer called Hunter's parents, who immediately explained the situation and went to pick him up.
My son was visibly shaken, totally upset about the whole situation.
In an effort to keep this from happening again to Hunter or to another family,
what can I do as a parent?
Richardson connected with her state rep, who then sponsored a bill that would enable autism spectrum disorder to be indicated on a person's driver's license. It was passed with bipartisan support, and the governor signed it into law this summer.
Yeah, we celebrated.
What did Hunter say?
He doesn't really say much, but he was happy just to see a smile on his face. Yeah.
New Hampshire is only the third state in the entire country that's adopted this kind of legislation. Hunter and his mom are hoping other New England states will be next. Reporting in Derry, New Hampshire, Catherine Underwood, NBC 10 Boston.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Glendy marks 40th year celebration Greek culture. A Manchester tradition is reaching a big milestone this weekend. Glendy started 40 years ago as a way to celebrate Greek culture. It has now become a staple event in the Queen City that reaches the whole community. Organizers said half of the event's volunteers aren't Greek. The Glendy Festival opened at noon Friday with people lining up an hour before that. It runs through Sunday at St. George Cathedral in Manchester. So if you are in the mood for some yummy food, go to the Greek Festival. Glendy. And now let's take a look at that U.S. stock market and see how the U.S. stock market closed for this Friday evening. And here's a look at that U.S. stock market for all of you for this Friday evening. Your Dow Jones Industrial Average closed in the green and went up. Your Nasdaq closed in the red and went down. S&P 500 closed in the red and went down. Gold closed in the red and went down. Oil closed in the red and went down. U.S. 10-year closed in the green and went up. Euro/USD closed in the green and went up. And VIX closed in the red and went down. Dow notches 8-day winning streak, nears record on growing optimism around U.S.-China trade. The Dow Jones Industrial Average rose on Friday, posting its first 8-day winning streak in more than a year, aimed improving sentiment around U.S.-China trade resolutions. Lawsuit claims that Trump profited from officials staying at his hotel. Let's take a listen to that video from Hallie Jackson from MSNBC News.
This is from the U.S. Appeals Court in Manhattan, and it's about a lawsuit that claims President Trump improperly profited from accepting foreign and domestic government payments through his business. Let me bring in NBC News Justice correspondent Pete Williams, who is here now with this new development. Pete, what do we know?
Well, the lawsuit has been revived, is the headline here. It was originally filed by a group called Crew, an ethics group here in Washington, and some restaurant owners and business operators in New York and Washington. Now, Crew has since fallen out of the lawsuit, but the lower court said, no, these groups don't have standing to sue. They appealed, and today the Second Circuit Court of Appeals in Manhattan said, yes, they do have standing. So this is not a decision on the merits about whether they're right or wrong. It's a decision about whether they get to keep up the fight, and the answer is yes, they do. Now,
so
their argument is...
Oh, sorry, Pete, go ahead.
Sure. Their argument is that the president's ownership of his hotels and restaurants in Washington and New York unfairly competes when foreign and domestic government officials stay in those facilities that are competing with other businesses because they want to curry favor with the president, and the president benefits financially. And they say that violates the Constitution's emoluments clause, that obscure part of the Constitution that no one ever talked about until Donald Trump became president. Right. So the lawsuit is revived. It goes back to the district court now. And interestingly, this is just the opposite of the conclusion that was reached by other courts that have looked at this same question, that these groups don't have standing. So if this continues along this way, we're set up for a possible circuit split here, and this could wind up before the Supreme Court in the next couple of years.
Thank you for checking out our YouTube channel. Why don't you subscribe?
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. And that is it for this Friday evening edition of the Riley King Newscast right here on the Riley King Network. I hope you all have a great rest of your Friday evening, and I'll see you back here tomorrow for another newscast. And I'll have a news report coming up in a little bit. Good night, everyone, and bye.